Here we go. This is crazy. Let's see how fast she can go. There's 10. She's hauling. It's crazy. Okay. Shut the prop off. Now let's get fishing. I can set the troll speed manually using cruise control on here. And it should automatically pull it down to 1.5. Which is going to be my target speed for Kokanee today. That's a really sick feature, that cruise control. Especially for Kokanee, because you can dial in your speeds exactly. It makes a little bit of noise, but it ain't crazy. Okay. And I have hands-free control of the steering using the foot pedals to steer the oversized rudder in the back. So I can change direction and then just have the cruise control on. And that's pretty nice for trolling applications, especially for Kokanee where they like you to make frequent turns. Might actually turn down the speed to 1.4. Just back it off a little bit. So I'm out in my new Old Town AutoPilot 120. So this is an electric powered kayak. It has a built-in encoder Powerdrive in the front that has IPilot built into it. So that gives me a whole host of features. One of the ones I was just talking about was cruise control. So today I thought I'd come out and just try out this kayak for the first time on my local lake. And I'm just trolling for Kokanee at 1.3 to 1.5 miles per hour. I can manually set the troll speed right here on the kayak, which is really nice. I mean, I literally can dial it to the 10th of a mile per hour. So I really can dial it in perfect for these Kokanee fisheries, which is great. And so far, it really doesn't seem like the motor's working all that hard. It's pretty quiet. I haven't seen a whole lot of Kokanee yet on the graph, but I'll be curious to see how they respond to the motor noise. I know that they're not really that bothered at all by the kayak. So I just mounted the iPilot right here on my left, the remote, and that gives me easy access to change my troll speed, set cruise control, and do a variety of other things. Oop, fish. Bump that speed down just real quick there, and got a hit. Whoa, right into the net. That was cool. That's the cool thing, is I can just bump the speed up, down by just reaching over, pressing that button and changing my speed. Sometimes that's all it takes to get those Kokanee to bite, so there you go. Nice Kokanee. There's another thing I can do is I can just, if I'm going along and I say I have a lot going on here and I don't want to be trolling and trying to watch for boats around me, is I can just simply hit this anchor button, and now it's just going to hold me in position right here using GPS spot lock. And I don't have to worry about, I have to just bounce this Kokanee in. I still got a handful in my net. It's pretty rare that I'll bounce Kokanee into the kayak. This one's pretty deep. Well, let me give you a quick tour of the cockpit. Got two forward-facing rod holders on both sides. They're not really that useful because, at least in trolling situations, because they intercept the rod holders, which I have coming back here. And because the rod holders and gear track is so far forward, I really have to pull these things straight back towards me so I can reach them with my hands. I think they're more designed for those folks who are standing up and sight fishing. There's my power drive, and you see it's turning around and keeping me locked within 5 feet of the original position that I asked it to keep me. I have, using a Ram Tough Claw, I have my remote here. Here's my cruise control. I just hit that little anchor spot lock position there. And then here I can control whether or not the prop's engaged, power, speed up, speed down. I can even turn left or right when I'm moving. And then I also have my feet can move the rudder right here. So that's pretty cool. Easy reach to the fish finder. I do notice that everything's kind of pushed forward here, so the gear tracks are a little bit further forward than I would think would be ideal for trolling situations. In trolling situations, I actually would prefer to not even have these forward-facing rod holders right here, maybe just one back here somewhere, and pull that gear track back towards me so it would be a little more useful. I can utilize only about 30 to 40% of the actual gear track. It leaves plenty of gear track for things like camera mounts and such, but the vast majority of us are not going to use that. So I guess that's probably my first criticism, is just placement of the gear track isn't ideal, at least for trolling. Maybe it's more ideal for other situations where folks are using it, but I can't imagine, even if you're sight fishing, what you're going to need all that gear track up front for. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to go ahead and disengage the spot lock. Now we're just back to free floating. Going to power on the prop. Here we go. And I need to see, it's got me turned, so I need to straighten that out, and I can do that by turning the head. There we go. And now we're back on course. Now what I want to do is I want to start trolling again for Kokanee. So I'm going to hit the cruise control button. And now you're going to see here, there's my target speed is 1.2. That works pretty good for me. And I'm back to just trolling for Kokanee, and I can deploy my gear, and it's going to hold me right at that 1.2 to 1.3. So there's 1.2, 1.3 in my fish finder, matching the speed, target speed on the IPilot. And while I'm fighting a fish, if I feel like I need to slow down, I can just reach over here, back the speed off, just to reduce the pressure on the fish. If I feel like I'm fighting a big fish and I don't want to overpressure him. There's a nice Kokanee. Yes. Whew, that's a tank. Ooh, whoa, that's a monster hit. Go to bounced him in on the rim. So I want to show another really important safety feature of this kayak. You'll notice clipped to my belt right here, I have a kill switch. This locks in here, it has a little magnet on it. And if I were to fall overboard, it's going to kill the motor. The motor stops running. That way the kayak doesn't run away from you if you were to happen to fall out of your kayak. Alright, and that also kills the motor entirely, like kills the IPilot link, kills the motor, and there ain't no way this kayak's going to get away from you. And there's a little bit of a delay when you're going from a stop to a troll speed. It just takes a little while for it to register, and then it'll start moving. So don't freak out if it doesn't start going right away. Three. Can't get my count done. I'm going anchor up. And that's number 10 for the morning. That didn't take long. Let's do a little bit more detailed tour now that I got my limit. Starting at the front, there's a couple places to run wires through for your fish finder. And then there's a transducer mount underneath here, which I'll show you. There's a small hatch in the front for battery storage and a built-in handle. Coming back here, there's little storage slots built in everywhere for pliers. There's this little thing here. I don't know what the original intent was, but it's absolutely perfect for cannonballs. It's got a padded deck, which is really nice. Scuppers. I didn't have any water problems coming through, but I'm going to crank this thing up to top speed and see what happens. Otherwise, I might end up running scupper plugs. We got 2 cup holders on each side, which don't have drainage. Tisk tisk. Not really my favorite feature of that. There's a little storage compartment here, which opens up. You can put your AutoPilot remote in there or whatever you need to, but also, if you were to take these screws out and put a plate here, you might be able to mount a downrigger right here really nicely, which is intriguing. Alright, I'm going to stand up just to show you some stability. It's got plenty of stability. I can turn around, no problem. This thing's not going to flip. Looking behind you, you got tons of storage, 2 rear-facing rod holders. You've got storage here on the right, which I've just got my fish finder battery since it's the first day out. I'm not sure where I'm going to stick it. And then underneath the seat is where your battery goes. And there's a plug there that plugs it in, and that they've already got it pre-wired. And you plug in your encoder there. Tons of storage. There's some gear track way back here. Way back there. I'm not sure. I can reach about 40% of it. I've seen some YouTubers say they can't reach any of it, which is nonsense, unless they have T-Rex arms. So about 40% of that is usable. The rest, I guess, you could use for cameras or safety flags, lights, etc. It's got a big oversized rudder. Let me show you that thing. So the rudder controls here on the side. I'll just lift it up. Just show you that big bad boy. Look at that thing. That thing's huge. So it has 10 settings, 10 speed settings. Right now I have it on the troll, which is why it's, or on the cruise control, which is why it's taking me back up to 1.3. I'm gonna disengage that. Now I'm just on a setting 2, and you can just increase your speed by pressing the plus button. There's 2.5, 3. So we're gonna take this thing up to top. There we go. We're going 4 miles per hour. I can confirm on both of my. We're cranking. That's at a speed setting of 10. You can also control your direction using the AutoPilot itself by turning the head. So I can press these arrows here, and that will turn it. There we go. Woo! Wow, that really turns fast. So you could definitely don't want to do that while you're standing. Whoa! Holy cow, this thing can turn. Especially if I use the rudder with it. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, I can throw a 180 super fast. It doesn't feel like it's going to tip it, though. So ultimately, I decided to go with lithium batteries for powering my AutoPilot 120. The reason I did that is because of the increased performance of these batteries. When you're out on the water on a full charge, the lighter weight, they're over half the weight of a normal sealed lead acid battery. And just the increased longevity. So another cool feature of the AutoPilot is I can use what's called the heading feature, which is this north button here. So I can point the kayak at the boat ramp in the distance. Once I get the bow pointed right at it, I just hit that heading feature right there. And now it will automatically take me to that location. Even as I'm fighting a little bit of wind here, the GPS is going to correct. So this is nice if, say, if you're halfway across the lake or all the way across the lake, a long way from the ramp, you can just kick this in. I don't have to steer or anything. I can just kick back. I can prep all my gear, get it squared away in my tackle boxes. I can fillet my fish if that's legal in your state. It's a really nice feature. So yeah, I can just relax now, enjoy the ride. Okay, coming into the ramp here. I've disengaged the heading feature by just pressing that again. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut my power just by hitting the power button, or the prop button there. I'm gonna paddle in so that I don't scrape up my drive on the AutoPilot. And in order to pull the drive up, there's a little cord here that I just gotta unlock. And it just automatically comes up on its own. That's it, I don't have to lift anything. So let me show you how to get the battery out of here. It's really, really easy to do. There's a single release here for the chair in the back. The chair flips forward, and the chair can actually snap into two positions, a high position and low position. I had it in the high, and I still felt really stable today. The battery is secured with another strap. You can just lift it out. Obviously, before you do that, you need to unplug it. There's the plug right there, and I put lots of dielectric grease. And then it has a little latch on it. To remove the encoder, it's super easy. It's got a handle built in right here. Just gonna unplug this, and then there's a switch right here. You just pull this switch up. See if I can get that on video. So I'm gonna lift this switch here. That allows the motor to move forward, and then I can just lift it up and out. Oh, and there's the lift. Don't forget to take the lift nut off. Okay, and then I can just carry this drive, which weighs about 25 pounds, and put it back in the car. This is built for saltwater, so you can take it into the salt, but they do encourage you to rinse it after you do so. All right, let's go over some of the strengths and weaknesses of this kayak for trolling applications. Obviously, it's a very effective trolling kayak. I was able to come out here in an hour to knock out a limit of 10 kokanee. And I think a lot of that has to do with the IPilot itself. Having that ability to troll at very specific speeds is really important. It's got lots of gear track, plenty of gear track to set up rod holders and things like that. Plenty of storage space in the back for rods. So I really think it's got a lot of strengths in terms of trolling. It's very stable. It's got high sides. You're not going to lose a lot of gear over the side. I did not get a lot of water up inside the kayak, even though I saw some complaints about that on YouTube and other reviews. I did not have any water penetration up through the scuppers and pooling inside the cockpit, even at top speeds. Maybe that might change in a chop. So I'll keep pushing this kayak in different conditions. It's very easy to steer using the foot pedals, which keeps your hands free when fighting fish, and also allows you to quickly adjust and make turns and stuff out there when you're out trolling to follow contours or steer towards fish that might be busting on the surface. There's lots of storage for tackle, so I really feel like those are all good strengths. The chair, I like the Sportsman's chair. This is the same one that's on the PDL 120. It's very comfortable, and you have a couple different adjustments for height level. So if you want to lower your center of gravity, you can. It's pretty easy to reach back here and reach your storage, which is huge. You could put a person back there if you wanted to. Now let's go over the weaknesses. Essentially, these forward-facing rod holders are almost useless, especially if you have rod holders that are for trolling. I bring mine back so I can reach them from a sitting position, and because the gear track here is so far forward, you're only utilizing about 50% of it. The rest of it, I mean, obviously can be used for cameras and things like that, but I actually feel like if I was going to design this specifically for trolling, I would have pushed back these gear tracks and killed these forward-facing rod holders and moved them back to here. That's just for trolling applications. They might come in handy for other fishing applications. No kayak is perfect for any one fishery. Another complaint, it's a small complaint, but still a complaint nonetheless, is these cup holders don't have drainage. And I know what I'm going to do with these cup holders. I'm going to throw bait, oils, and things in here, and they're going to get so nasty, and it's going to get so hard to clean them out. It's going to annoy me. Back here in the back, again, we have these gear tracks that are way back here. I think they would have been much better moved forward. It would have made them more useful in terms of additions. And also, I don't know what this flare is right here. You can see the flare goes up, makes this high sides, I guess for sticking a cooler in here or something. Honestly, I'd rather they just chopped that off, gone flat, knocked off 5 or 6 pounds of plastic that way, and moved the gear tracks forward, or extended them out. I mean, just give you tons of gear track. Because I think that the other complaint I have is just overall it's the weight of this kayak. It's got a really generous capacity. I think the usable capacity is about 470 pounds. So you can put a lot of gear in here. I understand they had to make it a little bit bigger to support the motor and the battery. So that's my only complaints. Those aren't really significant complaints, though. I really feel like overall there's a lot going for this kayak. I love the safety feature of the cutoff switch right there. That's really nice. The fact that the motor just lifts itself up and out when you release the tension on it is really nice. So you're actually pulling to lower the motor, and then as soon as you do that, the motor wants to pull itself back out, which is nice. Because say you're coming in unexpectedly on a beach, you got the wind to your back, and you're worried about smashing your prop on the bottom, just release that real fast. That thing's going to pop up on its own and be really nice. This little built-in storage is really cool here, and I think there's some opportunities here if you're willing to forego using this storage to put a plate of some kind right here and mount a downrigger. It'd be a really nice spot for a downrigger. And I'm not a big fan of downriggers, mostly because there's never been enough space, and I've been worried about having to pedal with all that weight on there. But I think it's a possibility here. So yeah, a lot going for this kayak. Pretty cool. Well, that's it for me today. I got my limit. I'm going to get home before it gets too hot. If you have any questions about the AutoPilot 120 for trolling applications or any other fishery, just let me know in the comments below. I'll put a link to a description page so you can learn a little bit more about this really cool kayak if you want to. All right, I'll see you guys next time out on the water. Bye.